Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton. I'm the founder and executive director of San Antonio Charter Moms, and it's still enrollment season for charter schools in San Antonio. We're featuring updated enrollment guides on sachartermoms.com. Today, we're featuring Lighthouse Public Schools, and I'm going to introduce the team from Lighthouse Public Schools, going to help us learn more about this amazing, long-standing charter school that's experienced a lot of growth recently. So let me introduce, we have Danielle Navarro, and she's the principal at Lighthouse Public Schools. And we also have James Mounts, and he's the instructional officer at Lighthouse Public Schools. Thank y'all for joining me.
Thank you for
Thanks
having
for having us.
Yeah. Okay. So for folks who are not familiar yet with Lighthouse Public Schools, Danielle, can you explain the mission and vision of Lighthouse Public Schools?
I think one of the biggest things, if you've ever seen anything about us, we have our lighthouse, and our call to action is enlightening hearts and minds. So that kind of encompasses our mission and vision. And what we want to do is not only develop students who are academically ready, to go out and face the world, but kids that are socially and emotionally ready to go out and be successful in whatever they choose to do. So really getting to not only just their minds, but also their hearts, and working in tandem to meet them where they are and grow them from there.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's really important for people to know about. I was wondering, can you all talk more about what type of learning environment you want to create at Lighthouse Public Schools? And so when I've been able to visit the campus, or when I see the social media posts and the newsletters, it seems like everything is aimed towards making sure the environment is safe and it's rewarding for the students, and as Danielle mentioned, supporting social emotional learning. So can you all talk more about that learning environment?
Yeah, so as an extension really of what Danielle said, we want to create that safe environment for our kids, and sometimes that even starts with having the kids know that they've got 2 square meals, that they can rely on breakfast and lunch when they come. We have some students in our population who show up and those are the only 2 meals that they may get. I mean, even in San Antonio and the US in general. So starting with even something like that and having that consistency in their life and knowing that that's a safe place for them. And then kind of transitioning to the social emotional aspect and the academic aspect and combining those to address the entire child. So with our social emotional learning, we've got a curriculum from K through 12 that really kind of adjusts to where the kids are at in that grade level. So it'll start simple with, dealing with emotions and how to, do different things like that, to get to really complex actions that they might deal with later on in middle school and high school. And being able to have a perseverance from that social emotional and then apply it to the academic arena, and just really have kids be able to ask questions, not have a fear of asking questions, be able to answer questions, and then try and fail, and then learn from their mistakes. And some of that, self-image that they really build from knowing that I did it, I tried, I failed, but then I learned, and I'm going to have that perseverance going forward in the future. It's huge. So that's a lot of what we try and do here.
Yeah, and students, they need strengths, not just in academics, but those skills you describe about resilience and understanding their own emotions, how to deal with interpersonal interactions, like that. They need both sides to help them succeed. But I do want to ask you guys about academics. But in my notes, I've got it kind of broken down by, let's start with the big kids, and then we'll talk about the younger kids, and then get all the way down to pre-K. So. But I know that offering high school at Lighthouse is something relatively new. And this year, y'all have seniors, and some of them are also college students. So how does that work? How do you go from no high school to having college students in just a few years?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was kind of a product, something that happened a couple years ago. So, originally we were a K through 8 charter school, and we had kids that had moved on into high school. And really, I think it speaks back to the culture and that learning environment that we provide. We had kids and parents really that reached back out to Dr. Mills and wanted that high school. So started with about 5 kids, and now we do have about 13 college graduates, high school graduates, seniors, and we even have 2 juniors who are graduating early. And not only that, but then we've got 12 of them that are dual credit. So what's huge about that is we're able to kind of break down that barrier. A lot of kids, the barrier is really a financial one, especially with our low socioeconomic population that we have. So being able to provide college credit for them at no cost could be the difference between them getting that associate's degree, getting that bachelor's degree, and then not even going to college at all. So that's something we really take pride in, being able to offer and growing that program, high school program here at Lighthouse.
Yeah. Can you talk about who the partner college? It's McMurray University is the partner.
Yes, it's McMurray University, and they've been great partners throughout. They offer college advisors for our kids to be able to talk with. They're available. They support our teachers in the academic process, and so they've been a fantastic partner for us in this endeavor as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge cost savings for kids to already have college credits by the time they graduate high school, and a confidence boost of like, hey, I've already got my foot in the door as a college student, so they can see themselves as college going folks. And there's another aspect too, which is the right. Not everybody. You want them to know that they're capable of college, that's an option. But even if they choose not to do that, you want them to be able to get a good job right out of high school, and so then offering career technical education. That's something that's coming, right? It's a partnership with Alamo colleges.
Yes, and so we're going to be partnering with Alamo colleges, and so although it is a compliance-based initiative as well, the commissioner of TEA, you do require high schoolers to graduate with that CCMR, College and Career and Military Readiness certificate. But us being able to partner with Alamo colleges really is an added benefit to where they're going to have those skills going forward and be able to even graduate with a job. So,
yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you. That adds a lot to the information about the high school experience. So one thing I know from following Lighthouse on social media is that you have a very active art program. And so I was wondering, can y'all talk about like the benefits of the art program, and what are some of the things that the students have created? How does it impact the environment of the campus to have so much beautiful student art, like on the fences and in the hallways?
Yeah, no, definitely. I know if we have an amazing art teacher, Mr. Henry. So if you've ever taken a tour, come to the school, you've seen all the art pieces in the hallways. And one of the nice things about the art pieces is it's not just one class or one student. A lot of the pieces that we have are collaborative art pieces. So all grades, pre-K through 12, have kind of had a hand in all of them. Even like our fence work, we have the Seahawks out there. That's all been a collaborative art piece too. Everyone's got to have a hand in it, from teachers to students. And it really promotes teamwork with the kids. They learn how to work together as a team. They recently did some grid art. So they each had a little piece of grid to make a bigger picture. And so that says something to them also, is not only, is there this big picture, but you're one piece of this bigger picture. You have to know how to work together with your team in order to create what's gonna be this big picture. They did optical illusions a few months ago. So they got to learn about how their eyes and their brain work together to create this picture. And they got to create their own optical illusions. So it's also built a really good sense of confidence with our kids. So when we first started the art program, a lot of them didn't want to try. They were kind of scared. So kind of going back to what Mr. Mount said, is now they're kind of building that resiliency and they're gaining confidence in themselves. So now when Mr. Henry gives them a task to do an art, they dive right in and they're confident about it. They're ready to do it. So it's building that resilience and confidence in them as well.
I know from my own experience, whenever I have the chance to be creative, now for me, it's usually writing, but sometimes I like to doodle or draw, that when you get in that state of flow, like then it gives you a sense of purpose. Like maybe this is what I was put on this earth to do. Like I get to create something. And for students who have experienced maybe distress or disruption or trauma in their lives, it must be a great feeling for them to, get into that feeling of flow, feel like that they're part of a team, and to have such a talented teacher like Mr. Henry, telling them like, yes, you're important, you're part of this team, and look at these beautiful things we can create together.
Yeah, it's been amazing bringing some of our kids out of their shell. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I encourage everybody, go visit the social media, because you can see examples of the the student created art, and I think it's amazing. It really stands out. I mean, even among the different charter schools that I see, I think you guys have a really exceptional art program. Okay, so I want to also ask about the pre-K program, because I think, so y'all have had pre-K for a long time, but it seems like it's really grown under Dr. Mills. And I was wondering, can you talk about what are the benefits of that? Like, how does it prepare students for elementary? Like, how does it support the community by having, a high quality pre-K program at Lighthouse?
So yeah, we had pre-K. We've had pre-K for quite a few years now. But when Dr. Mills came on, that's when we started our pre-K3 program. And so now we have pre-K3, pre-K4, and then starting with kindergarten. So I think one of the main things, especially with pre-K3, is we're really getting them ready just for like that kind of structure of what a school day kind of looks like. So, there's certain things that we still have to do. There's lunch and there's recess and there's all these things that we have to do. But giving them that flexibility with pre-K3 to still, have fun and be little, but there's some structure that comes with it. Of course, they still have nap time in pre-K3 and pre-K4, but I think it helps, especially in our community, to have these students come to a high quality pre-K early, so they get that exposure. They're getting exposure to other kids. They're getting that social exposure. Their language starts developing because they have adults that they're talking to, their teachers. They're reading books. They're having read aloud, singing songs. So they're getting all that, language development, vocabulary, and it's really setting them up for what we start in kindergarten. So by the time, they have pre-K3, getting that structure down, pre-K4, they'll start learning some of the basic, letters, numbers, all those kinds of things, or maybe going a little advanced if they already know those. By the time they get into kindergarten, they're already ready to hit the ground running with other things. The teacher doesn't have to focus on those smaller skills like learning letters or learning numbers because they already know it. So it makes it a lot easier for the kindergarten teachers to start right away with them. And it also helps us too, if there is, some kind of learning disability, we can catch that early and we can start intervention earlier. So that's going to put the student at an advantage too, if we can start intervention, when they're 3 or when they're 4. So by the time they're in kindergarten or first grade, they've already had intervention and they can deal with it a little bit better.
Yeah. Wow. I need to pull that clip out of it, because you just explained so there's so many benefits about high quality pre-K, and the pandemic disrupted so many things, and maybe families weren't enrolling their kids as early in pre-K programs, and the thing that you said that jumped out the most at me is having kids exposed to language, even just having books read to them or having adults or other peers speaking with them. It's that puts more and more language information in their heads. What are the sounds of the language, and and they have a bigger vocabulary. And then when reading is starting to connect the images with the sounds, there's more to work with in their brains. And I think that part's really important. And like you said, getting used to being in a school routine and interacting with other kids and building those interpersonal skills. So start that young, so that like you said, in kindergarten they can hit the ground running, and the teachers can operate at a higher level. I've quizzed you guys about the really dual credit high school, and about the art program, and about pre-K3, pre-K4. Are there any other aspects about academics that you guys want to touch on? I know there were some things as Scott was helping improve giving me some more background for the blog post, explaining about always meeting students where they are, and helping them grow as much as possible, but that's part of the philosophy of Lighthouse. So if you guys have more to share about academics, that's great. If not, I have lots more questions asking about school culture and things like that.
Well, just a little bit more about academics. I mean, one thing, and then you mentioned meeting the kids where they are. We really pride ourselves on taking the data and looking into the data and seeing where kids do have kind of those shortcomings. I mean, unfortunately, there's been a lot of gaps that have been created in past years. And so, like Danielle alluded to, finding those kids early and intervening early and looking at data and, okay, where can we help these kids and what can we do? And, we sit down with teachers and, we have those intervention programs. We have tutoring programs. They even pull out during the day. And so we have a dyslexia, program in itself too. So lot of different ways that we are working with these kids. Our emergent bilingual program has over 100 kids in it now. So we're finding them, we're working with them, and we're growing them in every aspect that we can.
Yeah, one thing I've observed about Lighthouse, and this comes through like whenever I've talked with Dr. Bills, is that that the culture at Lighthouse, y'all are fearless about you want to interact with the students and find out like what the issues are. There's no blame, there's no judgment, but you want to help them, and you're not going to avoid the problem. You're not going to deny the problem. It's like, okay, there's a gap here, or there's a diagnosis here, or this child needs dyslexia support, needs this intervention. It's like, like do it, help the child, but don't play a game where like you pretend the diagnosis isn't there or pretend the problem isn't there. Because the goal is what these kids can do with their lives, and believing in the unlimited potential that they have, and not making excuses based on oh, it's this side of town, or these children come from these circumstances, or their home life is like this. It's like, no, it's having a deep faith that every child has potential, and that you guys are going to meet them where they are and help them fulfill that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, okay, so thank you for all the information about academics. I'm going to kind of pivot to kind of a school culture, and I was wondering, are there like traditions or activities, or things like the clubs and sports, like so what kind of stories can you share that highlight some of these aspects about the culture at Lighthouse?
Yeah, so here at Lighthouse, I mean, we do have all the generic clubs and sports, and from flag football to volleyball, soccer, basketball, both boys and girls from third grade on up. So we cover all of our bases with that. We have student council, we have an art club. We are just getting a music program off the ground with third and fourth grade. So we're really starting to introduce a lot of those clubs and those different aspects that other schools may have more quote unquote established programs, but they're really taken off in their own right. And then the culture itself, I mean, one prime example of just what we do here is the LPS Day of Kindness that we recently instituted. This was actually right before Thanksgiving that we did it. And what it was every grade level, K through second, they chose to either do community service or some sort of beautification project, whether it be within the school itself or within the community at large. And one example, our kindergarten and first grade, they actually partnered with local nursing homes, and they created cards for them. First grade created placemats that the population could use for their Thanksgiving dinner. And they even went there and shared them with them, spent time with them. And not only that, but that relationship has continued. During Christmas, they went and sang Christmas carols there. And even all the way up until recently, Valentine's Day, they created Valentines for all of the nursing home, and they're going to go and deliver them here pretty soon. Unfortunately, they had a COVID outbreak, and you can't have littles mixing with that, but that relationship has continued. And not only that, but then our older grades during that Day of Kindness, then they participated in beautification here at the school. One thing that Ms. Navarro alluded to was the fence art that Mr. Henry does with the Seahawk. And if you drive by, I mean, you'll see this really cool looking Seahawk on our fence, and it looks really nice. And then even into the community, we had our student council and some of the high schoolers volunteer at the Salvation Army and food bank. And then extend that here, where we put together central baskets for our own families that may need it within the student population and the community at large. So really, we're going to take care of our own, but we're also going to take care of the community that surrounds us and all of the stakeholders, and be able to provide for them in a community that really supports us as well.
Yeah, well, the partnership with the nursing home, like that's really important, because just to like bridge the generations, like it's an opportunity for the young kids to see, interact with, appreciate older folks. The older folks can bring some something different in their lives. They get to like seeing children unless your heart is made of stone, seeing children like always brings joy, because you think about the bright future and like all the possibilities that they have in front of them. And and like I've seen on social media, I've seen pictures of the fence. Like it's something that the school had to have for safety, but then it's become something really distinctive and something that everyone can feel pride about. And then I think Danielle mentioned about teamwork, and like that's like part of the art program is like and like everybody feeling like they contribute to it. And then going out in the community to places like the food bank, like it broadens for older kids, it broadens their horizons, gives them a sense of like, yes, there are challenges in the world, but we don't have to be hopeless and helpless about it. If we through teamwork and through all these skills that they're learning in the classroom, they can go out in the world and make a difference. And hopefully that inspires them when they're thinking about their dual credit classes or their certifications, like what's their place in the world? What can they, find their passion and make a difference for people? Yeah. So thanks for sharing those stories. Yeah. Danielle, do you have some stories to share that demonstrate school culture at Lighthouse Public Schools?
Nothing huge, but like just small little things, like in our hallways, because our hallways are designated by grade level. So pre-K second is one. Then we have our middle school, high school hallway, and then our upper elementary hallway. So in each of our hallways, we do have like a celebration board. So that's for our teachers or anybody really to write a note of celebration to students, to each other. So we have, they're full right now, but teachers will go, and if they see, a student doing something kind or want to praise them for a good job that they did, they'll write a note and we'll put it up on the celebration board. Students will write notes to each other. So in the upper elementary hallway, they'll write notes to each other, like, thank you for always helping me when I need help. They'll put it up on the board. So just little things like that to make sure that our students understand how that we're grateful for them and we appreciate them. And then in turn, they can do that for each other. And we even have one for staff members too, because that way, we can praise each other on, I really love the way that you taught this part. I really love that you did this. And some of our students will even put up stuff up there for the teachers. So it's just nice that we can show them that we appreciate them, and then they continue that with each other.
Yeah, like gratitude is like experiencing gratitude. Like it's such a way to like reset your mood and kind of reframe how the world looks. Like I have a little gratitude journal. I write a few lines in every morning just because I want that reset. Before, instead of being annoyed at what I have to do that day, instead be grateful for things. So, what a great thing to build in the culture. So Danielle, you mentioned about different hallways having different age groups and grade levels of kids, but I think so currently, right, the mascot is the Seahawks. The colors are right maroon plus gray and white, but in the future, there's going to be different mascots and like some additional colors for different grade level groups, right?
That's what we've been thinking as, we continue to expand and grow, about really setting apart the 3 different schools, because right now we are 3 different schools on one campus. But once we start expanding, then maybe a different mascot for the little, pre-K through 5 or pre-K through second, or maybe a different one for middle school, different one for high school. So we kind of threw that idea out there to some of the kids on student council, and they were excited to start thinking of like, oh, what other kind of mascot would we want? So it's still kind of, in the works as we continue to grow, but hopefully we can grow enough that can be a reality pretty soon.
Yeah. So, well, okay, I have a specific question for Danielle, because I know, like through our mutual friend Shri, I know that you've done the Advocacy Leadership Institute through the Texas Public Schools Association. So I wanted to give you a chance to speak about like why is it important to be an advocate for public charter schools? Because I know you've done the whole training, and I've heard you speak on this, and you're very eloquent about like why. It's something very close to my heart, and as a charter mom myself, and I've tried to help a lot of other families find schools that are the right fit for them. But can you explain like why is it important to be a charter school advocate?
I think one of the things that I've learned about going through the advocacy program, and not just going through the advocacy program, but then having the students that we have here, and things that the parents have told us and the kids have told us, is why it's important to advocate is parents want to send their students to somewhere where they know they're going to get a quality education, but they also want to send them somewhere where they know that their student's going to be seen as an individual, as a little human being, not just a number. They're not just going to get lost in the sea of kids that are walking through the halls. And so that's one of the things, like I said, like that we really strive to do is look at each kid where they are. And so I think that's a big reason why a lot more people are starting to choose charter schools and really see charter schools, because that's where their students are really getting that extra help. They're being met not just where they are, but for what their interests are, where their strengths are. And so we're more able to cater to students and to be more creative and adaptive in how we teach and how they learn. And I think it's also important to advocate, because we need to educate other people. There's still so many misconceptions about what a charter school really is. So for example, even a few years ago, we were doing one of the school discovery days with you, and I was standing out there, and we were Lighthouse Charter School before, and then we changed it to Lighthouse Public Schools. And so one of the somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, you're not a charter, you're a public school." And I said, "Well, all charter schools are public schools." And so even something as simple as that is, you just don't know what you don't know, and there's a lot of misinformation and misconceptions about what a charter school really is and what they do. And so I think it's really important to educate, everyone, even our families and our parents.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Danielle, I'm really grateful. Like you have all these skills and all this passion, like, yeah, answering questions like, yes, charter schools are public schools. And I think even like through this whole interview, you and James have made such a case for like why we need schools that are unique. Because like Lighthouse has a unique set of offerings and a unique culture of, caring for students that no other, school in San Antonio is doing it the same way you guys are. And, my job is just to get the word out about what these different opportunities are, but as a charter school advocate, like you, Danielle, like you're making the case for like why we need a system like this, because when there are schools as unique as Lighthouse, then you're able to take that extra special care of the students at your school. And that's what's so important. Like that's what's going to, create new opportunities for them. And, whatever obstacles they've had in the past, now they have a chance to go to a place where they know they can be safe. They know they're going to be cared for. They get at least 2 meals a day. There's there's the room, like the nest, there's a quiet place that they can retreat to. And, they're learning those social emotional skills. So, there's just, it's such a unique place where they can blossom. And that's why, I want to be an advocate to protect the laws and the funding and things that make a school like Lighthouse possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've answered all of my questions, except I'm hoping that folks are watching and listening to this and thinking, hey, I need to learn more about Lighthouse Public Schools. So I have my little banners ready. But so if a parent is curious, like they're like, wow, this Lighthouse sounds like an amazing place, but how do I learn more? Like, how do I get a school tour? How do I get in touch with them? What part of town are they in? What information do you want to share? What advice do you have?
Yeah, so we have about any avenue available. So first of all, you can go to lighthousesa.org, and it's right there on the banner. We are, to make it easy, we are right across the highway from Incredible Pizza. We're at 8138 Westshire Drive. To schedule a tour, you can go onto our website there, and there's enrollment forms. You can fill out an interest form. Our executive director, Mr. Carruthers, has made it very easy to navigate now. We are on pretty much every single social media platform except for Snapchat and TikTok. I mean, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, just look up Lighthouse Public Schools. And then we even have an app. So whether you're Android or iPhone, you can get on the App Store and just, again, type in Lighthouse Public Schools, and it's kind of a condensed version of the website and everything there. You get news, announcements, you even get notifications when we make different announcements, whether it be for games or things going on campus. And if you're old school and just want to give us a call, you can call us at 210-236-7693, or just drop by, and we'd love to answer any other questions you guys could possibly have. Or if you want to just come in and have a tour just off the street, we can make someone available for you. So
yeah. And Danielle mentioned School Discovery Days. So right, we have events with lots of schools, and families can meet schools, and we're always proud to have Lighthouse be a part of those, because you guys are an important, like, a long-standing school, but with like so much growth and new programs recently, right? Like, growth in the student body, and then able to add all these like clubs and sports, and just make it that much of a richer experience for the students. So we're really proud to include you guys. But yeah, James, thank you. Thanks for going over like all the options. I'm impressed you guys have an app too. And yes, and kudos to Scott, because the website it's very complete. It's easy to navigate. That's lighthousesa.org, or you can just search Lighthouse Public Schools San Antonio, and it'll pop up.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, do y'all have any closing thoughts? I feel like I've learned more about Lighthouse. I hope that our audience is excited and curious, happy that Lighthouse the ecosystem here. But do y'all have any closing thoughts? Or
just like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to contact us. We'd be happy to answer anything that comes up.
Yeah, well, y'all have a great team there. I'm really happy to see just how the school is growing and developing, and taking good care of the students. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, signing off, and I look forward to coming next time on campus. I want to get the art tour.
Definitely.
All right. Take care.
Rodriguez to the front office.